Right. And that's not a talent or a skill issue. That's just,
You became so addicted with Flounder.
I just went all in.
Just zip it. Just don't even mention.
My wife, she understands and she supports it.
They are not even super expensive anymore.
I like the idea of being able to ban Ruby Amethyst.
Flounder.
Lorcana.
Dinner.
Flounder.
Frame break.
Frame break.
That was really funny. Now it's time for some real talk.
Pulled this license from them and gave it to Wizards of the Coast to develop a game, and that's a hot topic you're getting into.
I know.
I wouldn't care.
Yeah, how's it going, everyone? My name is Earlmeister, and welcome to the Loremeisters podcast. For this week's episode, we will be hanging out with Jared Hemus, the man behind one of the best and fastest growing Twitter accounts for Disney Lorcana, Citizens of Lorcana. If you've ever stumbled upon a Lorcana Flounder meme in Twitter, there is a very high chance it was from Citizens of Lorcana. He has been heavily involved with the Lorcana community since day one. Once a My Hero Academia TCG player, on August 22, 2023, he saw an article about Lorcana leading up to D23. Ever since that day, he started obsessing over Disney Lorcana. From there, he started a podcast revolving around the game, for he has been looking for a TCG that he can invest his time in, and he finally found it. He played on the very first Ravensburger event, and also did a card reveal for Disney Lorcana itself. Most of all, Citizens of Lorcana is many people's go-to account to check out on Twitter to consume daily Disney Lorcana content, including news, events, and Flounder memes. How's it going, everyone? My name is Earlmeister, and I'm the host of this show, the Loremeisters podcast. And today, we are having Citizens of Lorcana, the man behind it, Jared Hemus. And how's it going, Jared? You want to introduce yourself really quick to the viewers?
Well, first of all, let me just say it's an honor and a privilege to be asked on. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jared Hemus. I am the personality behind the Citizens of Lorcana account. If you're ever on Twitter and you've seen the Flounder memes, that's me. Also, with my co-host, James, we host the Citizens of Lorcana podcast, where we've been doing it for over a year now. So I respect you throwing your hat into the ring. It's a grind, but it's been one of the most enjoyable things I've done.
Yeah, make sure to check out that the podcast. I'll have the link below for all of Jared's slash Citizens of Lorcana stuff. From the Twitter to the podcast, all of that stuff will be on the link below. So make sure to check that out after the show and show him some love and support. And it's good, fun Lorcana content as well. It's extra stuff for you to consume. So make sure to check that out. All right. My first question to you is, what is it about Lorcana that pulled you into it? I know we showed in the beginning of the show on the hook, on the trailer, that you used to play My Hero Academia. I love My Hero Academia, by the way. I'm really happy that you did that. You are next on one of my Twitter posts, and I'm like, yeah, he's a real one for that. Like, what is it about Lorcana that you didn't do this for My Hero Academia? Like, what pulled you into it?
It was honestly, it was a perfect storm. I mean, I was into My Hero. I don't know if you've ever played it. A little more of a complex game, probably not the best for a beginner to get into.
Okay.
But my daughter was really into My Hero. That's why I started watching it. And then I was like, hey, this would be something fun to do together, like play this game together. And I kid you not, the first time we played it completely wrong. But it's still fun. We enjoyed it. But then in August, like a week before D23, this game called Lorcana was announced. So it was just the perfect place at perfect time. I was getting back into TCGs. I grew up loving, all the Disney. I'm a 90s kid, so I grew up with The Lion King, Aladdin, Pocahontas, all those movies.
Same.
And I'm finally at a point in my life where I have disposable income. So with all these three things combined, it was just the right place, the right time, and I just fell in love with it.
Nice. Yeah, I like that you did this with your daughter too. You already know I'm gonna be a dad soon. I want to do that with my kid someday. Like, that's something that I definitely want to get into. And
it's something special.
Yeah, I feel you as well on that. Like, being a 90s kid as well, growing up watching those movies, right? I'm not gonna lie, during my teenage years, I did stop watching Disney for a while, but that's because, like, high school is just very mean. you get teased if you're like watching all these stuff, and they cringe about it. So like there was a period of time where I stopped, but when I got married, I started watching it again. And when I saw a card game for Disney, I'm like, at first I'm a little hesitant because I'm gonna be calling a deck Lilo and Pumbaa deck, like it sounds so memey at first. A Flounder deck as well, for you who loves Flounder so much. It sounds so funny, but it was a great game when I got into it. I love it.
Yeah, the game is great. Like it plays nice. It's simple enough to learn and to enjoy, but there's so much complexity in there. I mean, already just 2 sets in, there are so many different ways you can play the game. I mean, yeah, Ruby, I'm sure we'll talk about this later, but Ruby Amethyst is kind of dominating right now. But I mean, just the fact that we're 2 sets in tells me that we're on a good path here. There's going to be a great diversity of decks and different ways that we can play the game. But I mean, not even just playing. People love collecting. Like, I love looking at the art. There's so many different facets. There's so many different ways you can engage with Lorcana, whether you play or not.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the collection part too. I have a folder that is super super heavy. My wife can barely pick it up. I can barely hold it as well. Is it's filled with so many
I
cards.
Have that same one.
Yeah, yeah. I love the collection part, and it's like what you said as well. The thing is, like, yes, Ruby Amethyst is super famous right now, but there's so many other decks there that is playable. They might not be as consistent as Ruby Amethyst, but that's card games in general, right? There's always going to be that one king that will just dominate the metagame. Maybe two decks that will dominate the metagame, but that doesn't mean, like in Lorcana, that doesn't mean Ruby Amethyst is the king and it's undefeatable. There's definitely many ways to defeat this deck, and I love that part about Lorcana. Also, I just wanted to add that it solved Magic's problem as well. I played Magic 2, and the thing about Magic is, if you're unlucky with draws, you can get bricked a lot. The land problem can be real, especially on a competitive scene. That sucks if you lose because you drew 7 lands and you can't play any card, or you didn't draw any lands at all.
Right. And that's not a talent or a skill issue. That's just luck of the draw issue. And for me, that takes some of the fun out of playing a game.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, we're still gonna have that element of RNG, right? Like element of luck when it comes to card games, because you're drawing cards and all that. You don't really know what you're gonna get, but minimizing that, I think, is the key to make it more fun. All right. My next question: what is it about you that you became so addicted with Flounder? I want to know the secret behind that. What is the whole idea with the obsession with Flounder?
Here's the thing. I am not a lifelong Flounder fan. I don't even remember what it was. I remember what it was. There was a card that came out. I don't remember specifically what it was, but it was a very strong card. And so I made this meme where I put like 3 Flounders put together, and it was on a screen, and I said this one plus this one plus this one, and then it said greater than, and then the other card. So I was like, this card is great, but it loses to Flounder, and that just tickled my funny bone. And so I started making memes like this every time a card would come out, and then it just morphed into what it's become today. And once I became associated with Flounder, I just decided there's no distancing myself from it. I was going to ride that meme train as far as I can take it.
Yeah, well, it worked, and everyone knows, like, all these Flounder memes where it's coming from. They even respond to your tweets with Flounder memes as well. and I love that. I think it's funny. I think it's cute, and I want to see more Flounder memes in the future as well.
Well, and it's one of those things that people know me by. I mean, in this world of content creators, there has to be something that sets you apart, and I'm the Flounder guy. Like, when the game first came out, people would send me pictures from their local game store, and like one person put a fish hook through Flounder, and they're like, "This is how I feel about the Flounder meme." Like the fact that it permeated into like the local scenes and off of Twitter into the real world. I think that was pretty neat.
Yeah, I think that's really really cool. Well, for me, you're definitely the Flounder guy, but for me as well, I just wanted you to know that you are my source of Lorcana news and everything. That's the first page I would go. I visit a lot of other pages on Twitter. I'm not gonna lie, but my first go-to is Citizens of Lorcana. I know if a card is revealed, I'm gonna see it there. I know if an event is revealed, I'm gonna see it there. I know if something spicy is going on with the Lorcana community, it's gonna be there. And thank you for providing us that, because that's a lot of work. I wanted to do that on my Twitter page, but that's so much work, and you make it so easy for us to keep updated with Lorcana.
Listen, come for the memes, stay for the news.
I love that. All right. Next question I wanted to ask. We know that you play this game. You play it with your daughter as well. Do you collect cards as well? From not just promos, but the sets as well. The whole thing, including the pins, including the stuff that you can win from the league. How much do you collect in Lorcana?
Yeah, I do have quite a collection. I mean, not quite like my co-host James. He has 4 of everything, plus a foil, plus an unplayed one. So he has like 6 of every card.
Ooh.
I have a play set, so I have 4 of every card in both sets right now.
Nice.
I haven't. What's that?
I said that's very nice. Okay. I'm a little jealous, so I just couldn't stop saying nice on that part.
Yeah. It's I've been very fortunate that way. And then I do have all the pins from the first set. Luckily, I've had people that were willing to trade those, because I'm not winning them at my local league. I'll tell you that. And then just from going to things like Gen Con and from the friends that I've made around the world who play Lorcana, they'll send me, like at the German Berlin event, I had some friends, Martin and Artem, who got a signed Aladdin poster from Peter Brockhammer and sent it to me. So I do have quite the collection going on. Again, I'm very blessed. It's one of those things where I was in the right place at the right time, and I know that I'm just very lucky to be in the position that I'm in.
Nice. Now, I was gonna ask, like, completing your play sets. Did you open all of those, or did you open a certain amount and then you traded the other cards to finish off your collection?
So it's one of 3 things. For the first set, I bought like 5 boxes. I just went all in.
Yeah.
But even then, you're not able to complete it all.
No.
So I did do some favorable trades with people, and then TCG players. So with set 2, I bought 2 boxes, and everything else has been TCG player mostly, with some trades specifically for like the Sad Beast. I think I got just about all my Sad Beast cards through trades.
Nice. That's exactly how I got my Sad Beast as well. I got 2 from the box. I did the opposite of you. I couldn't get my hands on the first chapter, so I only got 2 boxes on the first chapter, and then I went all in on the second chapter. I got 4 boxes and a couple of troves. Also, I do a lot of locals. I even stream it on my channel as well every Friday. Unfortunately, Saturday there's no connection in that place, but yeah, I still didn't get a full playset of everything though, like you did. I have so many copies of like one certain cards, and some of those are really bad cards that people don't want once they have it in their collection.
Listen, I pulled a lot of Gantus in that one, so I feel you.
My Namaris.
With Gantu and the Emerald Beast, the cards that nobody played with. I pulled a lot of those cards.
Yeah, minus Namaris and Bells. I was so excited with Bell in the beginning of Rise of the Flood, where I'm like, because the art is so cool, and like when you read into it, it looks so cool as well, like what it does. And then when you actually play, it's like, when do I actually play this card? Like, and when it's on the board, it gets removed by Smash, and it just feels so bad. But
it needs to be like shiftable on turn 2. There needs to be like a 1-drop Bell to make that playable.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say anything. Sometimes I go on the internet and I see things, and I spoil myself, but I'm not gonna say anything. Just zip it. Just don't even mention it, Earl. Don't even mention it. But there's something spicy coming in. I was just also gonna say for set 3, are you planning the same thing? Are you gonna complete the set as well? Are you gonna keep completing every single set that they release, or is set 3 the last one, or are you already done?
Well, here's the thing. Well, here's the thing. I told myself with set 2 that I was only going to get the cards for one deck, like one competitive meta deck that I wanted. But here I am with a complete play set. I I feel like I've probably spent more on this hobby than I care to. But I mean, set 3 is hitting me with that 90s kid, DuckTales, and Tailspin, and it's going to be hard not to. So,
Yeah.
undecided. I'm definitely going to buy a couple boxes and see where it goes from there.
Yeah, I'll probably do the same. I promised myself as well because it's a lot of money, right? Like it's no joke. Like it is a lot of money to get into it. Not get into it. I mean, like to collect every single thing. I think set 3 would be the last for me that I would try to complete. After that, I'll probably like open one box every new set just to have some cards for trades, and hopefully, luckily, I get the cards that I want. And my reasoning is just because it's the first 3 set are supposed to be the first 3 core sets of the game, and that's it. Because it's so much money, especially with a kid coming in. I have to watch the funds, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Now my next question is more on your activity as a player of the game, because I know you play the game a lot too. How much do you actually play? Do you go weekly on your LGS? Do you go multiple times weekly? Are you also active on Pixelborn and stuff like that? How about competitions and things?
Well, it's a delicate balance because while I'm, head deep into Lorcana, my wife, she understands and she supports it. But if I was gone every night of the week, which I could here in Las Vegas, I could play like 3 or 4, 5 times a week. But she also wants to see me. My daughter wants to see me.
Yeah.
So I play once a week. And in fact, as soon as we're done with this call, I'll be getting ready to head out to my local game store.
Nice.
For my weekly event. And then, play some games here at home, try to get some games in online. I wanted to be like a really competitive player. Like the dream is, obviously, when organized play is announced, I'd love to be at a level where I could, potentially go to something like a national or worlds.
Yeah.
But I am also recognizing my limitations. Like people are just better than me. People, and maybe it's because I'm new to this whole trading card game. But when I sit across somebody who's like really good at what they do, like we have somebody that goes to our locals who was at the Miami TCG Con and took 4th place, and to see his mind work as he plays, it's truly incredible. And I'm like, am I ever going to get to that place? So there's that limitation is inexperience, and then the other limitation is just time. Like I work, I have a family, so. But I enjoy playing. I enjoy going to my weeklies. And even if they just have, side events at these organized play, I'm going to be there. I'll be there playing in those at least.
Nice. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they'll do something similar like that. I mean, like I've been to some Pokemon events, and they do that thing where they have the main event and then they have a lot of side events. I do feel you though. When I was going into Pokemon, and I am actually a pretty seasoned card gamer. I played at least 7-8 titles. I topped in a lot of them, but going into Pokemon, they had 20 years like on top of me, and I felt like a little behind when it comes to knowledge. And I know exactly what you mean when like someone else is talking, someone else is making plays in front of you, and you're like, am I gonna get into that level? And do I want to even get into that level? Because like what you said, family, work, and all of that stuff, right? Like, do you want to invest that much time to get into that level? And not knowing as well if you would even be one of the top, even if you do get into that level, because it's just really tough.
So yeah, it's not just like I could look at the board and memorize what the person did, and like, okay, next time I'm in this situation, I can do that. But they just look at the board differently than I do. Like they sit there and they look at it and it's a puzzle, and their brain is just thinking through the different scenarios that they could play. And my brain just sees the instant play and plays it instead of like walking through, taking my time and playing through these different outs. So
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe that's a skill I could cultivate, but I think I would need like a coach or somebody, which again is more money and more time invested into it.
Yeah, or maybe it could just be free content as well. For someone who would like to coach someone out there, you know, I'm always like thinking about those stuff as a content creator, because I have done that on like other card games as well. But yeah, I know exactly what you mean, because like going into Lorcana, I wanted to like do something like that too. I want to be one of the top players. I want to go to the worlds for Lorcana. I'm spending all this time into the game, but at the same time, a big part of me as well wants to be a host. I want to host, or I want to cast. I've done that in the past as well, and that's something I enjoy too. And that's probably the route that is better for, at least for me. Like when I think of myself. That way I can spend more time with my family, like because that's what I want to do now. I'm at that point in my life where family time is winning for me.
I'm just at a point in my life where I like making Flounder memes.
I like that. I like that a lot. All right. The next question is what do you think about the cards that they revealed so far, especially the past couple days? There's a lot of cards that they show, and I don't know where you want to start with this one. I'll let you start with one that stands out.
There's so many of them. I think the place to start is probably the new location, Maui's Isle of Exile, whatever it's called. It's a new location. We get to learn more about locations just by this one card. We learn that locations don't always have lore, and like it has the ability to give all of your characters their resist +1, which I think is going to be an incredibly strong card, especially since it comes out on turn 2. There's not a lot of characters that can take this island out or this location out on turn 2.
Yeah, exactly. I actually didn't read into it if the location will get the +1 as well. I know if you are inside that location, you get +1 resist, which is really nice. And the first thing that comes in my head is the big beast with a 2/8 body, and it absorbs damage. Now, if that beast has a permanent resist, it's absorbing all the damage from everything. I don't know though if that beast will absorb the damage that the locations take. Because if it does, that's really, really good.
Yeah, that's a good question. I can't imagine that it would. I don't know, because they have been very careful in their wording between characters and locations.
Yeah.
Like Bodyguard is very carefully worded to say that it protects other characters and not locations. Yeah, that's a good question though.
Yeah. I'm excited with that. How about Jim? I think that card right now is super, super, super good, but depending on what other locations are we gonna get.
Yeah, 100%. It depends on the locations that we get. We had a Scott and Dan from the Forbidden Mountain on our podcast this week, and the one thing Dan likened it to is he said Jim Hawkins is essentially like singing a location for free. You play him to the board, you can play a location that costs 4 or less for free, and then he can move to that location. So he can move to Maui's Isle of Exile.
Yep.
And get the +1 resist automatically. Which, like you said, it remains to be seen what types of locations we get and what kind of abilities they have. But he has the potential to be very, very good. And like I said in that podcast, I could see him being like the sad beast of set 3 if locations are good. I think he's going to be number 1, the art's phenomenal. Number 2, a lot of people are obsessed with Treasure Planet. And number 3, it has the potential to be a meta relevant card just by virtue of even being in Ruby. I
Yep.
mean, all those things are factors in its favor here.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I completely agree with all of that. The prices of that card is gonna go up. Even if the card is not gonna be that good, if locations are not that good, I think it's still gonna be up there just because of like how many fans of Treasure Planet there are. I myself would love to get a 4-piece of Jim in my playset.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, I'm also super excited with the Dalmatians. Like I thought that a lot of them is looking pretty good for like an aggressive yellow deck mixed with maybe purple, maybe with green. Most likely with green because of like the Ursula reveal, right? Like that card is just so. It's my dream to have that card. Like I've said it on my streams many times. Like I want a card that silences skills or even just songs. Like make them like not sing. I mean that card doesn't like exactly do that, but it in a way it does, right?
Oh, for sure. That's one of the cards I'm most excited about. Because also another reason why I'll probably never be a top player is for some reason I have this thing against playing meta decks. So Ruby Amethyst, but I'm always playing against Ruby Amethyst. So if I had an Ursula that I could drop down turn 6, get rid of their Be Prepared, man, that would be so nice.
Yeah.
That'd be so nice. And yeah, I know Steel Song has their songs too, A Whole New World,
Grab your
Strength
swords.
of Raging Fire, but that, yeah, grab your swords, but that Be Prepared, if we could get rid of that with Ursula, I'd be happy as a clam.
Yeah, same. I know what you mean. Like looking at the meme that you posted with the cat. I love that meme, by the way. Me and my wife goes to Instagram and look at like a bunch of like couples type of memes with the you know that cat meme. I'm like I used to be the one on the left. Like I didn't want to play any meta decks, but like going into the Theus tournament, I had to play a meta deck because like I really wanted, like, since it's my first one, I really wanted to place pretty high, and I did with that deck. But come set 3, I'm definitely gonna step away from any of these decks, and I wanna create again, because the first I'm pretty sure you've seen some of it. The first like 10-15 decks that I played in the game are non-meta decks. All of them I created myself and brewed myself and cooked it live on stream. Some of them during competitions. And I'm like you, I don't like playing meta decks on any games at all.
Yeah, and I mean, your point, like, so people don't pile on or anything. It's almost to the point where you have to play Ruby Amethyst if you want to compete in these tournaments that have, prizing on the line. I mean, you saw the results. 7 of the top 8 from Tia's tournament were Ruby Amethyst. And we just see that it's, I mean, again, on that meta report breakdown that the Forbidden Mountain guys do, it sounds like I'm doing a plug for them, but they just have a lot of useful information.
Yeah.
It's like consistently, they said 60% of the decks in the top 8 from these big tournaments are Ruby Amethyst. So you'd almost be silly not to play it because there's no clear answer for it right now. Yeah. Ruby Amethyst is just so consistent. It's able to draw, it's able to control, it's able to clear the board. Yeah, Sapphire Steel had some success against it, but if you watch that finals game, it can clunk out. Like when it's good, when it fires, it's good. But when it bricks, it's hard to recover from that. And Ruby Amethyst just doesn't seem to have that consistency issue.
Yeah, exactly. Like out of like 100 games that I played with that deck, I probably bricked like 5 times. Like I got like 4 Tremaines and a bunch of Be Prepareds in the beginning, but that was me being greedy with my mulligans. And if you know how to like mulligan right, like you will never really brick unless you're super unlucky, because the ratios of the Inkables and the Inkables is so good, and the deck is just way too good. Strong in the beginning, strong in mid game, super strong in late game. It's unbelievable. But yeah, it's probably too early to ask. So maybe I'll do a tweet once Set 3 comes out to just to check what you've been playing. And I probably don't even need to do a tweet because you'll update us with what you're gonna be playing when Set 3 comes out. I'm excited to see what new decks will come out with Set 3 being in the play. All right.
Well, I'm a Sapphire fan, so I really want to make a Sapphire deck be competitive, or I really want there to be competitive Sapphire deck that I can play with.
Yeah, the Sapphire Steel right now is doing well. I mean, I got my booty kicked with a Sapphire Ruby popsicle that had a Sword of Truth. I've never seen that card played, but because the meta is Ruby Amethyst and there's so many villains in that deck, the guy who beat me had a Sword of Truth, and I was like, what do I do? Like, everything I have in my hand is a villain.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool tech that he did. Next is competitive format. I wanted to ask you, what do you think moving forward with Lorcana? Are you currently happy with the competitive format? It's like Pokemon right now, right? Where we bring one deck, that's it, or it's a best of 3 one deck, which is the Western style of Pokemon tournaments. In Japan, actually, they bring one deck, but it's also best of 1. How they play the tournament. I know a lot of people don't like that. I somewhat like that because you can bring stuff like element of surprise. You can actually bring non Ruby Amethyst and win the game on the first game because you have that element of surprise and they can't really adjust to that. Or maybe should we be bringing 2 or 3 decks from now on, and then they get to ban 1 decks, and then they play against the two decks on the best of 3? What do you think? Are you happy with the current format right now?
This is a very interesting question. I mean, I'm happy with the format as it is, but again, I've been playing TCGs competitively for, if you include My Hero Academia, about 7 months now.
Okay.
The best of 1, if I can go first, then I like that idea.
Yeah.
If I have to go second, maybe not so much. Like, in every card game, there's inherently an advantage to going first. And, Lorcana tries to make up for that by letting you draw an extra card. Like, first player doesn't draw, second player does.
Yeah.
But still, it just feels like if you're able to get your board presence established first in Lorcana, you just have such an advantage.
Yeah.
Now, I did play some of the Star Wars Decipher card game way back in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Okay.
When I was a kid. And you always brought a light side deck and a dark side deck. And when you played, you'd start on light side or dark side, and then you'd switch for the second game. And then if there's a third game, you'd switch back to the first one. So this idea of bringing a couple decks, I kind of like it. I mean, that seems like it'd be interesting to me. I'd be open to that.
Yeah. In the beginning of Lorcana, I was against the idea because like the decks are so expensive because the cards, everything was overpriced. But now that the prices of cards are around £2, £3, or $2, $3, or maybe lower than that. Aside from like obviously the super expensive legendaries, well, they're not even super expensive anymore. They're really affordable now. Bringing 2 decks can be a thing, or three decks, and I also like that idea of bringing 3 decks. I think there's flexibility, and you get to ban 1 of the deck. You get to play against 2. So if someone brings Ruby Amethyst, ban Ruby Amethyst, and you get to play with 2 other decks.
I like the idea of being able to ban Ruby Amethyst.
Yeah.
But also, I think as more sets come out, it's going to be a lot easier to build more decks. I mean, one of the things, like, Steve has been very active. Steve Warner, one of the game designers, has been very active on Twitter lately. And one of the things he said on there that really struck me is he said, we like to create cards that are good that we put in the common, uncommon, and rare slot. He's like, we don't reserve the highest powered cards for the, super rare and legendaries. He's like, those ones we save for unique abilities, but they may not necessarily be the strongest, like Gantu,
Yeah.
So I like that they have friends on the other side is a common. And that's a card that every single Amethyst deck plays.
Yep.
And so the more sets we get, the more of these staple cards there will be that people can plug into their decks and build more decks for cheap. So you don't have to have the Sad Beast. Though Sad Beast is a very, very good card.
Yeah. I like that he finally answered that as well, because I am so confused with that. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna defend myself. I am an ultra megatonic villain for saying these stuff, because like whenever I'm opening cards on some of my content, both shorts and longs, and even on my stream, I keep saying, why is Little John rare? Like why is the 6/6 body doesn't do anything else? Why is it a rare card? And then you have Jafar that is a 3/4 body that lets you draw a card at 4 cost, and the art was really cool too, and all that. Why is it uncommon? And I finally got my answer, and I love the answer that he gives. And what I love about it too is it's not a predatory system that some games out there have been doing, because it's free money for them. I love that they did that where it's like, we want it to be accessible for people. There's other reasons why this card is rare, why it's super rare, why it's legendary, and we don't want the legendaries or the super rares to be the only good cards, because then you would have to spend hundreds, thousands maybe of dollars just getting your hands on these cards or decks.
Yeah, that's one thing. When I played My Hero Academia, they had, for going to League, you'd get something called a Plus Ultra Pack, which included 1 card, and you could only get these cards from going to League play. And most of the cards, were whatever, like they were just filler, but there were a few cards in there that were like staples for the meta. And the fact that you couldn't get them anywhere else except for as prize support made them really like valuable. Like you had to spend $25 for this card. And the fact that Lorcana doesn't do that, I love it.
Yeah, same. That answer was exactly the one that I'm not expecting them to say. And forgive me, because I'm just so used to corporations or developers now preying on their community, because they know that they will spend money for a certain like card or a certain item in game. And I love that that's the route that they took. And I want to go back in time and say, like, see, Earl, stop bannering randomly. Why is this a rare and why is that an uncommon card? Because there was a good reason behind it.
Live and learn.
Yeah, we live and we learn. Yeah. All right, we're gonna go to one of our segments right now. And one of the segment is banned cards segment, and you have 10 seconds to answer this. What we will do is we will talk about an ink, and you can choose one card that you would ban in that ink. Starting with Amber, 10 seconds.
Amber, can't think of a card off the top of my head in Amber that strikes me as needing banned. Yeah, I got nothing on this one. I'm probably gonna get roasted. People are gonna be like, "Oh, you forgot," blah blah blah. But no, Amber seems fine.
Just okay. I was not expecting a skip. You have to pick one. If you have to pick one.
Okay, well, if we're gonna have to pick one, I guess we'll go with the hot one. We'll say Mufasa.
Okay, Mufasa. All right. Okay, Mufasa. I love Mufasa, so I'm only gonna hate you at 2 a.m. at night. Well, I can't sleep because I can't believe he just said Mufasa for Amber. I'm just kidding.
Remember, this is the one who wanted to skip Amber, right?
All right, for number 2, we have Amethyst. 10 seconds, go.
Amethyst, Ursula.
Ursula. Okay, Ursula. Number 3, we got Emerald. 10 seconds, go.
Emerald, Lucifer.
Yeah, Totally agree with you. I am with
hate
you on that.
card.
Yeah, it just this. I know I created a discard Floodborne deck that I'm really proud of. I told you about that on the tweet. It peaked at number 2 at one point on Dreamborn, and the thing is, like, even though I did somewhat enjoy playing that, I don't want that to become meta, because like you not being able to play the game at all, it's not fun. It's not.
No, it's really not. And especially when they bibbity bobbity boo it right back out. Oh, that's the worst.
And you don't have an action card. You get to get rid of 4 cards in your hand. It's such a sad day. It's such a sad day. All right, number 4, Ruby. 10 seconds. Go.
Be prepared.
Yes.
Easy.
Yes, that one is very easy. Sapphire. Banning Flounder. I'm just kidding. 10 seconds.
Well, I love Sapphire, but if I were going to ban any card, I'd have to go with Popsicle. Popsicle or Hiram.
Okay. Yeah. Popsicle for me, yeah. Last one, Steel. 10 seconds.
Steel. A Whole New World.
Yes.
And I love A Whole New World. I play it all the time, so I like playing on Steel, but it's it definitely resets the game.
Yeah, all these like resetter, it's just it's not a fun card to have, honestly. All right. Okay, we're gonna this is a bunch of segments that I prepared for the thing, so we're just gonna keep going through it. The next one is this one. You have 3 seconds to answer. It's that game. The first thing that comes in your mind when I say a word. Okay.
All right, I got you.
All right, here we go. This is gonna be a quick segment. Number 1, Lorcana.
Flounder
Citizen.
of Lorcana.
Fish.
Flounder.
Dinner.
Spaghetti.
Flounder.
Ariel.
All right. I thought I was gonna get you to say once I said fish, you said flounder. I was baiting to get you to say flounder after I said dinner, but that was sick.
I saw what you were leading me to, and I steered clear of that. No.
No, we're not gonna have flounder for dinner.
No flounder for dinner.
No flounder for dinner. I like that. All right. The next one is another 10-second segment. This one is your favorite card. So there's gonna be 5 questions for this one as well. You have 10 seconds to answer it. Favorite character to play?
I am really enjoying playing Mufasa. Like, as much as I said I wanted to ban him, I enjoy Mufasa. It's just a fun card.
Yeah, it is. It is. Like when it dies, it's just like, okay, this is the moment I've been waiting for this whole time.
And it's like legit, it's one card that I don't care if it dies. And same thing with like the fox and the whatever, the goat.
The goat,
but
yeah.
Mufasa, just you never know.
You never know, yeah. And what is the most fun card that you've pulled out of Mufasa?
Oh my gosh, so I was at a locals and I had a lemon lime deck and I had 2 Mufasas on board. No, just one. For this game, I just had one. I needed 3 lore to win. My opponent banishes Mufasa and I get a Cusco on top. And he has like he has a Steel Song deck, so he has a lot of removal, but he can't target Cusco. So I was able to win the next game. That was awesome.
Nice. I love that. I pulled an Ursula and the same thing happens to me. Pulling an Ursula with the 3 quester was really nice. Yeah. All right. Next one. Favorite character art.
It has to be at this point Honey Wizard. It's just such a fun card art. Although, if we're going with the new cards, Jim Hawkins is making a strong case. Like, when I saw that piece of hair, it's so dumb. But when I saw it out of the frame, like, it took my breath away. It was just such a stunning card.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I saw that post and it cracked me because I play a lot of Snap before I go to bed, and when I saw that, I heard it in my head, frame break.
Frame break.
That was really funny. I didn't even saw that part, and I had to go back to that card just to check. Is this hair actually like off the frame? And you were right. A little bit of it was off the frame. Yeah, that was that's funny. All right, favorite enchanted card.
It has to be Aurora. I mean, the art style on that card is so unique, and it's stunning. I don't own one, but I would love to own one.
Yeah, I actually got lucky. Pulled it on my. I got first place on one of the locals, and I got to pull it live on stream. Okay. Actually, live on stream.
That is so cool. Yep, yeah, that's gonna be one of my chase cards when I have the money for that.
Nice. I already got mine. I'm a big Hercules fan. I love the song from Hercules, "Go the Distance," and I just love Hercules as a kid, and I got that, and I'm happy. Although the Elsa is very nice too. It's super expensive though. Yeah. All right. Favorite song card.
Wow. I have to go with A Whole New World. I mean, like I said, I play Steel, and I said that it's a card that should be banned, but when you're playing Sapphire Steel and you have Fishbone Quill and you empty out your hand and you have a Cogsworth on the table,
and you wheel,
you sing it with Cogsworth, and you have like 8 or 9 resources at that point to play with, and it just can overwhelm the opponent at that point.
Yeah,
unless they be prepared yet.
And you get to play your whole hand the next turn because you have so much ink.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's just so much fun, and it's a way, like, if you were to play Sapphire Still and there were no A Whole New World, you couldn't do it. There's no way you could ramp without it.
Yeah. Unless like you do like Popsicle, but then again, if you don't draw Popsicle on turn 1, you're basically done. All right. Yeah. Favorite item card. This is gonna be the last one.
Wow. Well, I mean, Popsicle's the obvious one, but the one I had the most fun playing with was a deck I played with in set 1. It was the Scepter of Arendelle, just because people weren't expecting it to come out, so they would quest with one of their characters they thought was safe. I'd throw a Scepter down and just remove their, Elsa or whatever.
Nice.
Like, it's just such a satisfying feeling.
I like that. Element of Surprise. I'm all for Element of Surprise. All right. Okay, we got 2 more segments. These will be the longer ones. We got done with basically the fast segments. This one is, let's go. The real talk segment is where we're gonna be. Now it's time for some real talk. What do you think about the future of Lorcana as a game?
I think the future is bright. I mean, I said this on one of my podcasts when we actually had Tia on. The only thing that I could see stopping Lorcana is if for some reason Ravensburger were to lose the license from Disney. I think the game has a strong IP. There's a lot of people like you and me, and even like my kids are into anime, but they are still exposed to the Disney stuff.
Yeah.
They're like, Disney has such a strong hold on people's hearts that's going to keep people coming back. And there's the, people out, the Disney collectors that just want to collect. So they're going to be buying, they're going to be opening. So there's going to be a healthy secondary market. And I think once this product supply chain issue has been sorted out and there's enough product to go around, which I think is going to happen in set 3. But at that moment, I think this game is going to rocket. I know it had a rocky start, but every popular new game does. One Piece had a rocky start too. And people seem to forget that. And yet people are still playing One Piece. So I think Lorcana's potential, I don't think they'll ever unseat Magic or Pokemon, or maybe not even Yu-Gi-Oh! I think it has the potential to earn its place among those 3.
Yeah.
Like, I genuinely do.
Yeah, I think of it the same way. Like the only thing before that I was hesitant about, but it's already getting fixed. Was like it's hard to get your hands on it, and you're right. A lot of card games when they start, it's like this because there's a lot of scalpers. They're like, oh well, a lot of people are gonna want this, so we're gonna buy 100 boxes of it. So we take them off the market and we get to double our money, which is very very sad. And the thing is, like I usually would always say, like, can you really blame them? Yes, you can blame them. But I'm not gonna get into that. But yeah, I think that if there is a card game that out of all these new card games that are coming out, this has the strongest potential because of its the Disney titles and all that. And I don't think like what you said, you're worried about Ravensburger maybe losing the thing unless they really do something like really stupid to like lose it. I don't think there would be a reason for them, right? Like,
No, I don't either. That's why I say, like, that's the only scenario I can see where, this would get derailed, and I don't see it happening. But maybe I'm traumatized from when I was a kid playing the Star Wars Decipher card game, because that game was going strong too. Like, there were months where it was outselling Magic. And then Lucasfilm pulled its license from them and gave it to Wizards of the Coast to develop a game, and there's not been a strong Star Wars game really since then. So
yeah.
I'm not saying it's gonna happen. I'm just saying, like, when I'm sitting here thinking, that's the only thing that I could see that has the potential to derail it. I think this game is such a juggernaut and has so much momentum. It's gonna be hard to stop.
Yeah, I completely agree. Also, I just wanted to add with the Star Wars thing, maybe 5-10 years from now, when we run out of Disney titles to put in, since they have the license for Star Wars now, maybe we'll see Star Wars someday in Disney, Lorcana.
That's a hot topic you're getting into.
I know.
I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
I wouldn't care, but I know a lot of people would care. So
yeah, they
we'll
want to
see.
keep it like just Disney. Yeah.
Yeah. I think people are okay with Pixar entering into the scene.
Yeah.
But they draw the line at like Marvel and Pixar.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, Marvel and Star Wars.
Yeah, Marvel and Star Wars. Yeah, Marvel and Star Wars, because they're not originally Disney. But yeah, Pixar and Disney. It's sometimes I didn't even know that. Oh, I didn't know that was just Pixar. I didn't know that was just Disney and all.
Right, like Brave. For the longest time, I thought Brave was a Disney animated studios, but it's a Pixar one.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. The next question, we have the 3 total questions on the Real Talk segment. The next one is, what do you think about the future of the competitive scene? Like, do you think that this circuit that they are bringing us is going to take off? What do you think?
And it's hard to say without knowing the details.
Yeah.
But I mean, from day one, Ryan Miller, one of the game designers, has been promising a robust competitive scene. And he's somebody who, earned his chops from working the Magic competitive scene. Now, obviously, Ravensburger doesn't have the same background in competitive play as Wizards of the Coast.
Yep.
But I think it's going to be like product launch. It'll probably have a shaky start. But once we're into, like, this time next year, if we're talking, I think we're going to see that robust competitive scene. And competitive organized play announcements are coming sometime this month. Yeah. And I'm super excited for that. And I think people are going to be happy about it. My one wish.
Okay.
My one hope is that these events go off without a hitch. Like, I want Ravensburger to get a home run on one thing. So that won't be like Gen Con, where it's like, Gen Con was amazing, but, I just want people to be like, Worlds was amazing, and I want to do this again.
Yeah. I agree. The game is one of the best card games that I've done. It's complex, but also simple enough to play for everyone in a casual way. On the competitive scene, though, it can get really complex as well for the competitive players. And like what I said earlier, they solved the issue of the lands. The inkables and uninkables was such a great idea for this, and I'm very hopeful with the competitive scene. My only wish on my side is that if we qualify for Worlds, they better give us when they do it. because I'm guessing they would do it on Disney World, right? I was hoping that they would give us like a free accommodation and free flight to go there if you qualify for Worlds. That would be amazing.
How amazing would that be? That might motivate me to put in the time.
Yeah, because you don't lose, right? You lose on you lose on the tournament. Well, I'm fine. Copium is right behind me. I'm gonna go in one of the rides.
Let me go ride Space Mountain real quick.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Number 3 on the Real Talk segment. What do you think about the future of prices for collectors?
Yeah, this is another one that's interesting because that's another thing that the game designers have said from the beginning is that they want to make this game accessible to everyone. And so they said there will be no mechanically unique, promo cards. So when it comes to prize support, I honestly don't know what they're going to do. Like I know in Pokemon they have the cards with a special stamp that says, top 8 or judge or whatever. Maybe they do something like that. Maybe they do an alt art, but there has to be something that's motivating enough for people to want to come out and play. I mean, playing in Worlds is pretty motivating itself, but to get someone like you to fly from, the UK to Florida in this example, that's a big commitment.
It's a lot of money.
Has to be something. It's a lot of money,
yeah.
And so there has to be something that is compelling enough to get people there. And again, they've said that they kind of want to stay away from cash pricing, so I don't know. I'm going to be really curious to see what their pricing support looks like because I just have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, Pokemon does the same thing. I guess one of the reasons is like they don't want it to be like kind of like a gambling thing, right? For a lot of people, and I understand that they have to protect their IP and all that. But they usually will give you enough product for like pricing that you can sell because you can. When you win that, you can do whatever you want with it. If I win that, I'm definitely not gonna open like 20 boxes if I get 20 boxes. I'm selling those boxes so I can keep going to the events and all that. But yeah, right now I feel like it's enough for them to get that little like it's a different instead of what do you call this? Instead of the regular thing on the bottom, they get like the D23 Expo, and all that. I feel like they should definitely do like an alt art or something that just makes it extra special, in my opinion, so people would actually like collect it and stuff.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and with prices. Things are going into a great spot now, and I'm pretty sure 5-10 years from now, all these OG cards are gonna be spiking up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was talking about this the other day, but at Gen Con, which was where they launched Lorcana back, last August.
Yeah.
They had their tournament there, and the top 8 from each round got these playmats.
Ooh.
And these playmats were like unique. I mean, they have, I think, 6 Nicholas Cole pieces of art on them, and then it says top 8. And you can go onto eBay, and people are selling them for like $1,500.
Yeah,
well, that's what they're trying to sell them at. I don't know if anybody's buying them, but I mean, something like that, even something like that, I think would get people interested to go out there.
This is like exactly like what you were talking about. Like I got this on one of the competitors. Like you can see like there's a competitor part. And then on the top right, you would see like Pokemon Championships, Europe. I really hope that they make something like this.
That's so cool. I love it.
Yeah, that would be really nice. All right. This is the last segment that we have, and probably the last thing, unless you want to add something at the very end. This is the last thing that we will talk about. It's called "Look Forward into the Future" segment. What are you looking forward to seeing in the circuit first of all?
Wow, that's a great question. You're talking about the competitive circuit?
Yeah, the competitive circuit. Yeah.
So I would hope that just like there's a lot of other games that do this too, that there's a progression, that your locals mean something. Your locals help you get into regionals. Regionals help you get into nationals. Nationals get you into worlds. Like I know that's a huge like organizational undertaking.
Yeah.
But if I feel like every game I go to is meaningful, I'm going to take it more seriously. The other thing that I hope, especially because I see, my kids playing Lorcana, and like they want to do well, they want to compete, but a lot of times, they're kids. So I would love to see a juniors division too.
That would be cool. When I was in Pokemon, there's this guy that I met here. He has two sons. They're twins, and ever since they were a kid, they do that with Pokemon. They go to every single event here in Europe, and they're actually one of them is top 8, and then the other twin is like top 20. They're really, really, really good now, and that would be cool if the kids could do that as well. Let's not leave the kids behind when it comes to this. Give them a scene as well. That'd be awesome. Yeah. All right. Is there something you wanted to add on that? Sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say, I mean, if you get the kids involved, like that's just gonna make the game even more healthy in the long run because they're gonna grow up and they're gonna want to keep playing. They're gonna want to introduce their, assuming the game goes that long.
Yeah.
They're gonna want to play this game with their kids. So it's just in their interest. And again, like I know it's first year, so maybe not, it doesn't happen this year, but down the road, like within the 5-year plan, I hope that they'd introduce like a juniors division.
That'd be awesome. It's Disney after all. There's so many kids that's watching this. It would be so sad if everyone gets to see their dad and their moms competing and they're sitting there in the background. What about me? We don't want that feeling.
Sit down, Timmy. Daddy's playing.
Yeah. 5 more years. It's like, oh my God, it's like drinking again. I have to wait that long before I can. Just kidding. The next one, looking forward to, is there any events that you want to happen for Disney Lorcana? Aside from the circuit, like what events do you want to see Lorcana?
Wow, that's a good one. They talked about these casual events. And I'm really curious to see what those look like. In my dream world, it's kind of like a D23 Expo for Lorcana, where you just bring in artists, you bring in fans, you bring in content creators, you have like multiplayer games, just super fun, casual things. And it's all like a celebration of Lorcana. Like maybe you even have panels where you have Shane Hartley coming and talking about the game design, or you have artists coming and talking about designing specific cards. I mean, that's the type of thing, and I would also love for there to be like multimedia for Lorcanas, like books or comics, and this seems like a place where something like that would be perfect.
Yeah,
as well.
I completely agree with that. I definitely want a Lorcana event where there's no static between the people, because like sometimes that happens in a competitive event because people get so sweaty, they become so edgy. I want an environment where everyone has a big ass smile on their face and everyone is friends and family in the room, and maybe the developers or the artists will play the game with you too. That would be a cool experience. All right. What Disney title would you want to see next that enter Lorcana for the future?
Wow, that's another great question. There's so many that are already in there that I love.
Yep.
But if I'm gonna choose one, and I'm guessing, okay, since they're introducing 90s cartoons,
okay,
can I choose a 90s cartoon? Is that acceptable?
Yeah, that's totally acceptable.
Okay. Then Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. That was like my number one show as a kid. I loved it. I'd love to see Chip, Dale, Gadget, Monterey Jack. That's the other one. I would love to see all of them. The Fat Cat Boss. All these characters that I grew up with. I know a lot of people love and are attached to Darkwing Duck, but for me, it was Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers.
Nice. Chip and Dale was a lot of fun to watch as a kid. Yeah. For me, Toy Story. I love Toy Story, like growing up. But then that's Pixar as well, so we don't know if Pixar would be later or if it would be sooner.
I'll add one caveat. If I had my wish, like it's not an IP, but it's Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. Everybody knows. That's who I want to see in Lorcana.
Yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool if we see Oswald as well. All right. The last one is, you probably already answered it with what you just said, is a Disney character that you really, really want to see in the game. and it's probably Oswald.
Yeah, it has to be Oswald.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I just really love the early Disney history. And I know Oswald is kind of making a resurgence, but for so long he was just forgotten. And the whole history behind Oswald and how that led directly into Mickey. Um, and and then in 2006, when they traded a sports broadcaster to get the rights back for Oswald, like the whole story is just so fascinating. And for me, it would be like really honoring Walt's legacy to see Oswald not only in Lorcana, but just in more Disney stuff in general.
Yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool. All right. Well, that's about it. Honestly, is there any other trends that we should bring up? I don't know. Like we pretty much talked about everything, new and upcoming already, right? Is there anything that you wanted to add that you think I missed?
I don't think you missed anything. I mean, we covered a wide variety of topics, but I will just say this. I'm super grateful that you had me on here. One of the things that I love, and one of the reasons why I'm so active in the community is because it is such a great community. I mean,
I agree.
people are so helpful, they're so supportive. I've, dipped my toes into other communities, and a lot of places they just try to tear each other down.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like this is such a fun community, and it's awesome to be a part of, and I hope that sense is carried into the local scenes. I hope it's carried into organized play, which I know when you're playing like legitimately competitively, you have to put on a different cap. But after the game, I hope we can all shake hands and be friends, because
Yeah.
that's really what's going to make Lorcana into something truly incredible. Is not only is the game fun, but people want to be a part of a community like this.
Yeah.
So that's my hope.
I just wanted to add to that I think one of the biggest reason as well is you yourself. You're setting as a good example and as a good role model to people. We have you as one of the foundations for the community in Twitter, particularly, and people are vibing off of that. When you have that foundation, it's really hard if you're. I don't want to use any bad words as much as possible. If you're an edgy person and you're going into a scene and everyone is like high-fiving, smiling at each other, giving each other hugs after a game and all that lovey-dovey stuff, it's so hard to keep that edgy feel, because everyone will just like look at you like it's okay to smile. It's okay to shake hands. It's okay to high five with each other, and I love that. When I first tweeted, I want to get into Lorcana, you answered that tweet and you recommended so many people, and I felt so welcome. And this is 4 months ago, and now I feel like I'm a part of it now too. And like all these new people coming in, they look so happy and excited coming in because we have this community now where we're Ohana. We're Ohana in this place.
Yeah, I agree. And thank you so much for those kind words. And I love, like, the thing that I love about this new crop of content creators coming up, you and Lorcana Goons and White Breezy and Lorcana Villains, like, you guys bring the energy. Like, not only is it the positivity, but I love the energy and the enthusiasm, because I'm about as exciting as a doorknob. I totally understand that. That's my personality. But I like your enthusiasm is contagious. So we have that bedrock, and now you guys are just making it contagious. So I really appreciate having all of you in the community as well.
Thank you for saying that. I think we have a great different variety of stuff. You want hype, you get hype. You want a much chiller channel, there's chiller channels. We have a lot of stuff. Whatever suits you is there. Again, thank you, Jared. I really, really appreciate you coming into this. Thank you very much for being the very first guest of the Loremeisters podcast. And I hope in the future, maybe a year from now, we can bring you back and we can talk about the stuff that we try to predict with Lorcana. That'd be awesome. And hopefully there's some new title, and maybe Oswald will be there, or Chippendales will be on Lorcana already by that time.
I have a feeling in my bones. Oswald's coming this year. I can feel it.
Yeah.
Well,
Heart of the
let's be
cards.
honest, I'm going to say that every year.
Heart of the cards. Heart of the cards. Don't lose hope.
I'm manifesting it.
Yeah. All right. We'll keep praying to the RNG gods. I just want to say thank you everyone for watching this episode of the Loremeisters podcast. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, the bell button, and comment down below if you have any questions for the next guests that we have. And most of all, the most important thing is make sure to look at the links that I'm gonna put down there. Just look down there, scroll down, and you're gonna see Jared's channels, his podcast with Citizens of Lorcana, his channel and Twitter, and anything else that he wants to plug in there will be down there. Make sure to check him out. And is there anything else you want to say before we say goodbye?
Again, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Awesome. All right, we'll see you guys on the next episode. Have a good one. Take care. Peace.